Hey tribe, welcome back to another video. This is RayTube practice question number 43, so stay tuned. Okay, so let's dive into it. A social worker is meeting with a client who recently found out they tested positive for HIV. Although the client reports remaining sexually active with their partner, they are ambivalent about whether they should disclose this information to them because of how they may react. How should the social worker respond next? A, maintain client confidentiality. B, inform the client that authorities must be notified. Or C, contact the client's partner and inform them of the client's health status. You know how we do? Pause the video, reread through the question, reread through the answer choices, select your best answer, unpause the video, and then we'll dive into the explanation. Okay, if you picked A, you are correct. Why? So I know right off the bat, some of us may say like, wait a second, Ray, shouldn't we notify the client's partner, and wouldn't you want to know? And what about, B, inform the client of the authorities? Isn't like a terror-soft situation and everything? We're going to cover all of that. So A is the correct answer, maintain client confidentiality. Why? So regarding HIV/AIDS and duty to warn, the following is a reprint of an excerpt from the New Social Work Journal. Social workers often work with clients who are HIV positive or have AIDS. Confidentiality is very important to such clients because of the stigma attached. And then the author's going to say, consider the question as to whether the therapist has the obligation to warn a third party of risk of transmission of HIV if his or her client is actually putting another party at risk. Then the authors say, report a case in which duty to protect seems important. And in this case, Brian is a 24-year-old married bisexual man entering counseling to deal with grief and depression associated with a recent diagnosis of HIV infection. During the course of counseling, Brian discloses that he continues to be sexually active with his wife and also occasionally with anonymous male partners. Brian has not disclosed his diagnosis to anyone and maintains that it is not necessary to do so because he practices quote unquote safe sex. Then the authors go on to say, discuss how being HIV positive may pose a different situation from that of Tarasoff case. Mental health professionals do not have the legal right to disclose that a person is HIV positive to another person. This is at the discretion of physicians in many states. However, social workers and mental health professionals must struggle with this legal situation if a client insists on potentially harming another person through risk of transmission of HIV. And I put the link right here for us. And we might be saying like, wait a second, Ray, again, like, wouldn't you want to know? And what about this? And it is not our role to disclose unless the person has made it clear, just like in a terror-soft situation of wanting to physically harm someone. It is not our role to disclose to authorities or anyone unless the client has made it clear that they intentionally plan to infect another person. If they have not, we do not report. And then also, if you're a member of the NASW, you have access to additional information. 8 ethical considerations for working with people affected by HIV/AIDS. And here are the authors here. Number 5 in particular, as it relates to this question right here. Exercise sound professional judgment regarding confidentiality and interpreting and appropriately applying state reporting laws as they pertain to HIV/AIDS. Despite medical advancements and a better understanding about how HIV/AIDS is transmitted, many jurisdictions uphold policies and laws requiring medical professionals, including social workers, to disclose the HIV/AIDS status of a client in instances when there's a risk of transmission to others. Policy and legal guidance around disclosure and duty to protect as it relates to the client's positive HIV/AIDS status vary from state to state. It is critical to know if your state has laws and the implications for ethical decision making. There is no specific ethical guidance in the NASW Code of Ethics pertaining to HIV/AIDS or other medical conditions. In general, social workers should protect the privacy and confidentiality of all clients' information. However, standards 1.01, commitment to clients, and 1.07, privacy and confidentiality, require that social workers be aware of and follow mandated reporting and duty to protect laws that may require a breach of confidentiality when a client has threatened to harm self or others, or when disclosure is necessary to prevent serious, foreseeable, and imminent harm to a client or other identifiable person. Social workers are responsible for becoming knowledgeable about the role of the professional social worker in applying local, state, or federal laws pertaining to testing guidelines and reporting mandates relevant to HIV/AIDS status. Social workers should seek ethical, clinical, and legal consultation when the social worker's ethical obligations conflict with relevant laws or regulations. When a breach of client confidentiality is determined to be necessary, only information that is directly relevant to the purpose for which the disclosure is made should be revealed. So, with that being said, in short, if you have the answer choice to adhere to policy, state laws, jurisdiction, etc., pick that answer choice. If you don't have that option, maintain confidentiality unless the client has made it clear that they plan to purposely infect someone else by having unprotected sex with them. As we just read here, again, adhere to policy, state laws, jurisdiction, etc. You want to pick that answer choice if that's available. If we get a question on the exam that's essentially saying, hey, do we disclose to local authorities, law enforcement, or the client's partner or not about their health status of having HIV or AIDS, right? We adhere to the policy, the law, the jurisdiction. Even seeking supervision could be an applicable answer, again, depending on how it's structured. But if it's not saying that the client plans to purposely infect someone else and give them HIV or AIDS or anything like that, we uphold client confidentiality. And again, some of you say like, oh, Ray, wouldn't you want to know and stuff like that? Well, yes, I would want to know if I was that client's partner or anything like that. But here's the thing. They have to want it for themselves to be able to tell the other person. It is not our role to tell that other person, again, unless that's their plan to purposely infect them. How would that go? I know not all social workers are therapists, but let's say, we're a therapist, we're providing mental health services, counseling services to the client, and they're in this situation. We weigh out the pros and cons with them. We're not telling them, you really need to tell your partner. Hey, so, hey, what's going on? Yeah, like, I don't know. I found out about this diagnosis, and I don't know if I should tell my partner or not because they're not going to be happy. It makes a lot of sense. What are some of the cons of not telling them? I don't know. Sometimes when we're, like just hanging out or, just having that intimate time, I get these negative thoughts and about, doing wrong and not telling them, and I should be more open with them and everything. And yeah. So it sounds like it's really weighing on your mind. It is. It is. What do you think would be some of the pros to telling them? Because you know your partner, you know the dynamics between you guys, and it definitely sounds like it will be definitely one of those, heavier conversations. What do you think are some of the pros to having that conversation? Well, they'll know, and I guess I'll feel a bit lighter because I'm not holding that in. I'm not keeping that from my partner, and it'll be able to be addressed. Ultimately, we want them to be able to see themselves, including the behavior, their actions in this situation of not disclosing to their partner, so that they can ultimately address the situation. It is not our role to, in this case, because again, if they said they purposely plan to infect them or something like that, that is a completely different story. But In this situation, it is not our role. We want to help the clients kind of process their thoughts and emotions more effectively, weigh out the pros and cons, and hopefully they come to the conclusion of being able to disclose that to their partner. B is not the correct answer of informing the authorities, because again, unless the client has expressed clear intent to transmit HIV to someone else, this is not a terror-soft situation. If so, you report that situation to the Department of Health, or if they give the option of local authorities or anything like that, completely different situation. That's not what's going on in this question right here. And then C, contact the client's partner and inform them of the client's health status. This is incorrect. Why? Again, this is breaking confidentiality. Unless the client has expressed clear intent to transmit HIV to the identified person, social workers must maintain confidentiality. So let's go back up again to this section right here. In short, if you have the answer choice to adhere to policy, state laws, jurisdiction, etc., pick that answer choice. If you don't have that option, maintain confidentiality unless the client has made it clear that they plan to purposely infect someone else by having unprotected sex with them. Okay, tribe, that was it for today's video. Again, that was RayTube practice question number 43. I know this topic has come up before in discussion where it's like, wait a second, if a client has a certain health status, do we have to disclose to their partner? Do we have to contact local law enforcement? How do we proceed? How do we proceed? And again, from all the research I've done, contacting ASWB and everything like that, this is how we're supposed to proceed during these HIV AIDS type of situation. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with a social friend, because we don't want to be licensed by ourselves or have this information by ourselves. And remember, you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. I know with this exam, it could just feel like a lot at times. It's like, it's just a lot. Breathe. Find a study buddy. You're a part of our tribe. You know, we're going to support each other and get through this together. So we're all licensed. So remember, doing at least 2 practice questions a day, 1 practice exam a month, it helps keep the exam anxiety at bay. So let's stay focused. Let's stay consistent in our studies. Go in there, pass our licensure exam, get licensed, and just put all this behind us. All right, tribe, I'll see you next video.